y'all, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, so am I. So that's awesome. And if you are coming back for round 2 of Bookish Fun, I thank you so much for coming back. Whew, I'm sweating. I've been really excited to get these videos out to you guys for a long time and can't wait to keep filming and getting you guys great bookish content, as it is my favorite. Today I'm actually doing a really fun video. I am participating today in what is called the Booktube Newbie Tag. As I said before, I am a newbie to booktube. So, I have a sweat stash. It is hot. So the Booktube Newbie Tag is something that I have seen other booktubers do close to their first video, and I love watching them. There's something that I always check out, even if I catch a booktuber later on in their video making careers, I shall say. So yeah, there's something I love to watch, and I thought it'd be a great introduction to the channel and to myself. I have a couple of notes in here that will help me answer the questions and give you guys a little get to know me type thing. So the first question is, why did I start this channel? The short version of this is I really just want another outlet to share my personal interests and my passion for this with other people around the world who have the same passion as I do. If my videos hit 5 other people and it's making them happy and it's letting them know that they can connect to somebody who has the same interests, then I'm totally okay with that. And if it escalates to something that's allowing me to be in contact and, you know, get to know hundreds of thousands of other people, then so be it. When I was a sophomore in college, I was bored and decided that I wanted to go on Tumblr. Before there was a huge interest, I think, in WordPress and all the other platforms, Tumblr was really the blog form that I knew most about. My brother used it, I used it just as a personal thing. I kept all, you know, pictures of who I liked from movies and book quotes and pictures of flowers and all of that on there, and then decided that I wanted to take my blog and turn it into something that would reflect what I was learning in school. I studied English in college. That is my bachelor's degree, and those 4 years, as well as years prior and years after, I have been obsessed with reading, writing, and everything that has to go along with it. The reason behind the name is more now it's turned into like a bug, you know, like a bookworm or things like that, which works as well. But prior, it had everything to do with me sitting in a classroom full of other people and catching what they had inside them, the passion they had inside them, and just taking it as my own as well. Sort of like a stomach flu, if you want to put it that way. It catches so quick, and I was just fully immersed in everything I was learning and was pumped to just share it with anyone I could, even if they didn't want to listen. And this YouTube channel is really something I wanted to do to reflect the blog and what I've written on the blog, but also to accompany it and give it that extra push. It's a career goal of mine to blog for a living and be in that sort of communications profession. So this is just another element that I'm learning and growing in, just connect and share my happiness with other people as well. I also think that this channel will help me learn some skills that I might already have but need to grow on. Editing, scheduling videos, keeping deadlines for myself. I'm excited to get creative with it and see where it takes me. Okay, so our second question is, what are some fun and unique things that you can bring to BookTube? I sat and I thought about this question a lot. I think that what will be unique about my channel is how broadly I'll cover different genres. I'm not one who likes to stay in one mode. I can get really into reading YA and then skip over and get really into reading classics. I can go oldies to newbies to upcoming. It doesn't matter to me. I love reading everything. Poetry, I love reading fiction, I love reading memoir. That's a huge part of my life. On the channel, I really want to cover and review tons of different literature, not just one set genre, because I think it's safe. I don't want to play it safe. I really want to go out of my comfort zone and be reading and interacting with all types of books. And I also want to share with you some of my education. Having the degree I do is a big part of me, and right now I feel like I'm not having to work another full-time job. Right now that isn't exactly where I want to be career-wise. I find it's really important to me that I stick to, you know, my passions. So one of the goals that I have is to share with you guys what my college experience was like and really let you in on what an English major's everyday looks like. I want to go through my notes with you. I want to show you tests that I took. I want to, you know, open up a book that I annotated 1,001 times. I want to show you where the post-its were stuck. I want to do all that sort of stuff. I don't want it to be like a classroom setting. I'm not going to sit on YouTube and lecture, but I want to interact, and I want you guys to let me in on how you felt about a particular book after I've sort of given you a brief on what my studies were like and how I interpreted that novel at that particular time. So I think that will be unique. I also really want to, I think this is where the fun will come in. I really want to show you guys how reading and writing isn't just something that I do, but it's something that my whole life revolves around. Reading and writing controls where I go on weekends, bookstores, antique stores to find books, the library, things like that. It involves places that I eat. It controls how I spend my money. So a lot of my life revolves around this passion of mine, and I think that involving lifestyle bits as well will be really helpful to show you the whole picture. It won't just be me reading 24/7, because that's not how my life goes, even though I wish it was. But yeah, to give you the full picture and see how reading and writing gets squeezed into the everyday person's life. Another fun and unique element that I really want to do is more sit downs with guests. When I was writing the blog, I did a lot of guest posts where I interviewed people in my family, friends, or even strangers on sort of their likes and dislikes book-wise, you know, what genres they lead towards, what's their favorite book of all time, and I really got to know them that way, and I want to do that here. I want to sit down with my fiance and let him tell you guys what his favorites are and what reading means to him, or writing, vice versa. I think that it is important to, like I said, see a diverse book culture and be inspired by other people's likes and dislikes. I want others on my channel to come and be able to, you know, make you guys reach for something that you never would before. Number 3 is, what am I most excited about this channel? The first thing I can tell you I'm excited about is starting it. This is something I've wanted to do for a really long time, so to finally be sitting down, whether I'm new at it or ancient at it, it is very, very just a great experience. I just can't wait. I can't wait for it to grow. I can't wait to get to know you guys, the connections and the people I'll meet and the relationships I'll build while I'm doing this. I'm also really just excited to be building my TBR. It's a sin. It's already super long, and it will be forever, probably too long. I'll never reach, you know, I'll never probably be able to read everything on my list. I'm excited to get recommendations from you guys. I want to hear how you felt about certain books. One of my favorite aspects of watching BookTube before I even thought that I would, you know, step out and make one myself was just listening to people talk about books they've read and, you know, see their TBRs and watch their hauls and see what makes certain people pick the books they do, and, you know, see how they read them and where they read them and where's their favorite spots, things like that. So getting to know the community is something I'm really excited about, but also just being here in general. It's great. Number 4 is, why do I love reading? Reading to me has always sort of been a place of enjoyment for me. There's always been an element of comfort that comes with reading, or came with reading, and sitting down with a book. You know, there were a lot of things growing up. There were tough times throughout my life where reading was something that I could reach to sort of escape, as cliche as that does sound, because it's like that for a lot of people. A lot of people read to just escape the everyday, but that's something that I definitely connect with. I also have always been confident in my reading. Math and science in school, not my forte whatsoever. My brother, genius. My sister, great at it. I never could connect with subjects like that, but reading and writing, I just bloomed in that area at a really young age. My grandmother and my mom really worked with me early. I think I started reading at age 3. And from that time in my life, really just was sucked in and stuck on it. You know, I was into so many different reads. We used to keep reading logs in the classroom. It was part of like the reading program in school, and I remember just all of us being so competitive. Like, the more books you had in your reading log, the better. And like, whoever had, I honestly think that some of us weren't even reading at that point. We were just writing down the titles to like get the extra, you know, recognition for finishing them. But it was fun. Reading has always been fun for me, and I keep it a fun thing even now that I'm an adult and I'm busy and I have 10,000 things to be worried about. It's also always been a way that I could connect with others regardless of interests. I was never a real big athlete. I danced my whole life, but was never really athletic in other senses, but could really connect to other people through reading. My mom used to take us to story time when we were little, which was super great. It's always brought a sense of creativity to me as well. When I sit down and I'm writing, you know, the idea that I could write something that hasn't been written before that will really, you know, a project just transforms. I start writing, it grows, and it becomes like its own entity, and that's just incredible to me. It's incredible to me that Shakespeare could write the way he did, to Poe could write the way he did, to Jane Austen can write the way she did. It's so creatively satisfying to get all these ideas that you have in your head and put them down on the paper. Number 5 is, what series got me reading? I'm no exception to the majority of my generation. I would say that the biggest series that got me into reading when I was younger was Harry Potter. When I was that age, I think I was 6 or 7 years old when my mom read us Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone for the first time, and I was sold. Like, from the minute I read it, I was sold on it. My brother and I used to dress up in my grandmother's like house coats and use her canes as broomsticks and fly through her house. I played Harry Potter on the playground with my friends until I was probably in 7th grade. The movies were always a big deal. Like, going to the movies to see the new Potter movie was like the most exciting experience ever. Just Harry Potter was everything. Still to this day, I could watch the films twice a week and it wouldn't bother me. There's something about the world and the characters and the messages that are written within the book that really connected to me. Other ones would be A Series of Unfortunate Events, The Chronicles of Narnia, The Amazing Days of Abby Hayes, this short series, Ginger Pie and Pinkie Pie, the Magic Tree House books, and just so many other books when I was younger. Like, the first time I ever devoured a book in a day, probably hours, was Holes by Louis Satcher. I sat on my couch in my mom's apartment and like the world disappeared. I was in my own thing, like my own element, for like 4 hours, and that book was done like within the day. I just remember Harry Potter always standing out, as it still does. Even before those though, like as a toddler, my mom ordered all of these Pooh Bear books. I mean, that was a whole series. I had Pooh Bear, we had all the Sesame Street books. Anything Beverly Cleary back then was a given. Sharon Creech wrote a book called Absolutely Normal Chaos that in 6th grade, I think I reread it like 5 times. Number 6 is an interesting question, and the question is, what questions would I ask my favorite booktubers? Now, I've thought about this a lot because I watch them constantly. Like, every morning I get up and I check out a few booktube videos. I'm very immersed in their reading journeys. Haley in Bookland, she's one that I watch all the time. I adore her. Ariel Bissett, I love her. Hannah from A Clockwork Reader. All those girls are people who I look up to, and I very much enjoy watching anything that they put up on their channel. I think if I had to ask any of them questions, it would be, how did you find the courage and the confidence to just start filming? What clicked? Like, did you have any fears? Did you have any doubts? Do you still have any doubts or any fears, even though you're a seasoned booktuber? Another question I would ask is, what has been your favorite video to film? Another question would be, what experience or opportunity has been your favorite that came about because of your booktube channel? And then I guess my last question would be, what is your favorite book that you've read because of booktube? So what book did you read because you saw it on someone else's TBR, or you saw it in a book haul, or you watched a review on it? Which one has been your favorite that you learned about through someone else? Number 7 is, what challenges do you think starting a booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? This question's easy to me. I think being consistent and finding the time to pursue the channel is something that I'm gonna have to overcome. We live a pretty busy life We do a lot of traveling, we work a lot, and so this is something that I'm adding to my plate that I really want to happen. I have faith as well that I will push through and make it happen. The other difficult thing will be the learning curve. There's a lot of things equipment wise, editing wise, and programs and platform, like technical things that I'm not a genius at. Eventually, I think I'll have a proper understanding of everything, but for now, we're just going through the motions. Number 8 is, when did I start reading? I kind of answered that question before. I started reading when I was about 3 or 4 years old. I was always a little bit, I think, above reading level in my class, along with a few other kids. I remember this one kid, Rage. I thought I was a good reader. Rage could read like Lord of the Rings in 3rd grade. We're all like, I did go through a phase where I didn't want to read at all. That was towards like the end of middle school, and then I snapped back out of it when I went into high school. Number 9 is, where do I read? I would have to say that typically I like to read in bed. I like to do it in a cozy place. In the fall and winter times, like, I can read anywhere with a blanket and like a cup of tea. I like to read there. I also like to read outside in a hammock. I'm done. I can just sit in a hammock and read all day long. Anywhere where I can sort of separate myself and be either cozied up in my own like element or outside in nature. There's something tranquil about nature that I really enjoy. I also strangely love to read in the car. I just wanted to add that because I feel like a lot of people can't read in the car, and I feel very bad for them. And then finally, number 10 is, what kind of books do I like to read? I really love to read a big variety, but I have to say that 19th century American lit, authors like Twain and Emerson and Thoreau, those authors really stand out to me, and I love that time period in writing. I also, though, I can get down with some British lit. Shakespeare, Jane Austen. Another favorite, Virginia Woolf. I love Kafka. I also really love memoir. David Sedaris has been a favorite since I was in high school. Mary Carr, Mara Wilson's memoir. Lately, I've been so into YA, only because they're quick reads and it's something I can get through with my busy schedule. Dystopian YA, my go-to genre for the past year and a half. Replica by Lauren Oliver, the Divergent series, The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins, Never Let Me Go by Kazuo Ishiguro, I think is how you pronounce his name. I love a good thriller, I won't lie. I like the creepy stuff. I love circus themed books, things about the freak show, that kind of thing. I also love retellings lately. Dorothy Must Die, Wicked, and After Alice was really good as well. I actually just finished a book called Lost Boy. It's by Christina Henry, and True Story of Captain Hook. Those I love because the characters that you're reading about, you're already a little bit familiar with. Their story, their situation has just changed. So it's interesting to see what these authors do with them, and sometimes I even prefer the retelling over the original book. Oops. I like to read a lot of criticism and theory on literature as well. Monkey. Hello, Mama. Hello, little monkey. So that's it for today's video. I hope that helped you guys get to know me a little bit as far as being a reader and a writer. I also hope that you guys will comment down below some of your favorite books growing up, when you started reading, what you're reading now, anything that you want to talk about, go ahead. If you want more videos like this, I'll be posting a vlog and a sit down every week. Make sure to subscribe and like this video. I will see you guys next week.